Thought we could do a little catch up. It's 2026. I had a lot of goals for 2025 and I filmed a video last year. I'm really happy to say that I've made a lot of progress on almost every single goal that I named last year. And I think there is this piece of accountability to me with filming myself because I'm literally putting this out on the internet for whoever stumbles upon it to hold me accountable. So I wanted to do a catch up. I think having this first year of really focusing on myself and being intentional about all of the goals that I have was honestly surprising. I didn't realize how much I was talking about the things I wanted to do and not actually doing the things that I wanted to do. And I was getting some sense of accomplishment just by saying I want to lose weight. I want to get Invisalign, whatever it may be. And instead of actually taking the steps to do it, I wanted to come back and do an update. And I have my notes of all the things that I want to chat about. So let's go ahead and get into it. So this video is all about accountability, but I also want to be documenting my progress and kind of have a group on here where if anybody else is going through a similar season of life, we can kind of cheer each other on. And I was always really scared to get pregnant. And I feel like the more I talk about this with people, the more people that are like, no, same, or no, that's why I'm not choosing to have kids because of exactly what you just said. And I cannot imagine a world without my daughter now. She'll be 2 in a few weeks, which is insane. She just is the light of my life. My daughter and my husband are everything to me. And I'm so just grateful for them. But I also feel like being the best version of myself for my daughter and my husband is a huge piece of the puzzle. And I don't think that I was giving myself the permission really to do so. So I've talked about this quite a few times on my channel, or if you follow me over on Instagram. I gained 80 pounds. I think I was thinking it was closer to 70 originally, and I didn't really take into account, I wasn't really looking at the numbers. So one of the biggest things for me about getting pregnant was I was so terrified of gaining weight. I've always had a really unhealthy relationship with my body and how I think I'm supposed to look and food. That definitely started when I was pretty young, and I think it's only gotten worse throughout adulthood and dating and social media and just comparing yourself to everyone else out there. There's always going to be somebody who's more beautiful, who's skinnier, who's more fit, who has a bigger butt, who's stronger, who's smarter, all the things. And that's just really overwhelming. For me, I think I was so afraid of being compared. I definitely was in a few relationships that were really unhealthy and impacted my self-confidence in a very negative way. And this whole journey after gaining a ton of weight and then losing it and being able to prove to myself that number one, my worthiness was not tied to my weight ever. I think I was so in my own head about it so much that it was holding me back more than I realized. But one of the biggest reasons that I was hesitant to have a child was because I was so afraid of the physical transformation that I kind of knew was going to happen for me for the worst. I knew I was going to gain a lot of weight. I don't know why I knew that. I just had it. I don't know. I guess it was a fear, maybe is what I should say. And I did, spoiler alert, I gained 80 pounds, but it wasn't permanent. And that was the other thing that looking back at pictures of myself, I remember my maternity photo shoot, and I'll try to remember to post some pictures on the screen, but I was so uncomfortable. I didn't even want to take the pictures. I just forced myself to do it. And in hindsight, I'm so grateful that I did, because I've cherished these pictures and I don't see my weight when I look at them now, which is so crazy to say. Because when I took the pictures, I was like in tears. I didn't even want to continue taking photos. And for a while, like I think I posted like 2 or 3 of them because they were the ones that I looked the least awful in. But now I look at the pictures and I'm like, oh my gosh, like what a special season of life. So yeah, that was one big thing, was the fear of gaining weight. And spoiler alert, it happened. And I'm so glad that it did, because I've learned so much about myself this past year from having to work really hard at something that's not easy to do. Actually, over the last 2 years, because I actually lost the majority of the weight the first year. And then I had like 30 pounds that I could not lose to save my life. So I did end up going on a GLP-1 to lose the last 30 pounds. And I'm so grateful that I did. I don't think I ever thought that was something I would do. But here we are. I did it and I have no shame. I think it's a wonderful tool that can be used to help people. And if you use it and use it as, I just say, like something in your toolbox to help you achieve your goals, then that's what, you know what I mean? It's your life. No one else is going to suffer the consequences of chasing your dreams or not chasing your dreams, except for you. So do what works for you. I know there's a lot of people with really negative views on the topic, and I was really hesitant to share it. I've posted a few videos on YouTube where I have talked about it. And at this point, like if you're watching my channel, if you see this video, I don't want you to think that this is just some like mystical transformation that I've just done all on my own. I think it's really important to show people that I did use a GLP-1, but I did lose 50 pounds naturally, pre-GLP-1, really just from walking and being in a calorie deficit. I was terrified to go into a gym. So the first year, like that was not happening. I had some major postpartum depression, major, like can't stress this enough. It really impacted my life in a negative way. It impacted my career, all the things. Like it was just a really, really, really hard time for me. And also learning how to be a new mom, not sleeping very much. There was just like a whole lot that went into play that first year. And I was so focused on my physical body, like losing the weight, that I feel like it really took away from special bonding moments with my daughter, with my husband, us as a family. Like I just felt so uncomfortable in my skin. And I think I got to a point around the holidays in 2024. I think I just was like, I'm never going to be happy unless I lose the weight. Like I don't know what to do. I feel like I'm doing all the right things, but I also at the same time knew that what I was doing wasn't working. And I was loosely tracking what I was eating. I've never had a scale for my food or like weighed it out. And I know that's probably something that I will start doing in 2026, because I'm really trying to be focused on its math, essentially, like calories in, calories out, whether you're working out for calories out or you're using your like total daily energy expenditure or whatever. I'm not a personal trainer. I'm not claiming to be. I'm not, but this is just kind of what I've been following. But yeah, all that to say, like, I really do want to get a little bit more disciplined with it this year, because after going on the GLP-1, I just realized how much I was overeating, and I don't think I realized that before. So number one, going on the GLP-1 really did help me lose that 30 pounds that I felt like I could not lose. And then number two, it also really showed me how much I was overeating. I don't think I will stay on a GLP-1 long term. I'm actually hoping to start tapering off of it in the next like month or so, because I have reached my goal weight, which is, again, spoiler alert, I'm so excited to be saying that. It doesn't even feel real. I feel like I'm like dreaming or something right now. But I did like a get ready with me, and I was in the bathroom at my old house, and I was just kind of talking to the camera about the things that I wanted to change. And I remember filming that video. I was so self-conscious. I was so uncomfortable. But I was like, this is going to serve as proof for me one day of like where I was and how far I've come. So with that to say, I made a list. That was like a really talkative intro, and hopefully I cut that down because, wow, sorry, one thing about me is I love to talk. So I made a list and we're going to run through it. And I wanted to start with saying that I'm so grateful for how far I've come, but I also am really excited for how far I still have to go on this journey, because looking back, like I did lose 31 pounds this year, but also I lost a lot of muscle. That's just like when you lose a lot of weight, you're going to lose fat and muscle. Maybe at least that was my interpretation of it. And I started really focusing on wanting to be strong this year. It wasn't just like, oh, I want to be skinny, or, oh, I don't want to be fat, or, oh, I want to get back to being 150 pounds. It was like, wow, I really want to be strong. Like I want to set a good example for my daughter. I want her to grow up seeing her mom have a very healthy relationship with food, with exercise, with just loving myself and being confident and being able to get dressed and not sit there and have like a meltdown because my jeans are a little bit tight. I want her to see a woman that is setting a good example for her. And truly, that was the most important thing to me. I think it was just realizing like this is going to affect my daughter, and I don't want her to have the same mindset towards her body or towards food that I've had growing up. So that was the biggest thing. And I'm excited for the journey because I know I still have so much to learn and so much area for growth when it comes to building muscle and sustaining a lifestyle that is healthy and positive. I think that's the biggest thing, is like I want to fall in love with making healthy meals and working out. And I have, like I truly, truly have. And it's just so exciting to be able to say that, because a year ago, like I did not think I would step foot into a gym or a workout class or a studio. Like absolutely not. It was just not even in the question for me. And I'm really happy to say that I took 76 Pilates classes in 2025. I didn't start until like the end of May or early June. So really that's only for half of the year, which that's crazy because I don't think I stepped foot in a gym for like 10 years. Maybe not 10 years. Maybe it was closer to like 7. But I was terrified of working out in front of people. I knew that like I wasn't super strong, that I wasn't fit, and I just was like embarrassed. I don't know if there's a better way to say it. Like I tried to like sign up for a gym membership when we first moved here, and I would go in and I like got on the treadmill and I was like looking around and I was like, oh my gosh, everybody's looking at me. Everybody can see that I'm not actually running on this treadmill because I have weak ankles. Okay. And I was terrified of going and trying to lift weights because everybody was like pumping iron over there, knew what they were doing. And I was just like, I can't do this. So I canceled my gym membership, and I would just go on like neighborhood walks for some cardio. And I was trying to like focus on my step count and at least be doing that. I feel like that was something that I could comfortably do. And so I decided this year in 2025 that I was going to sign up for some sort of group fitness. I was looking into like Burn Boot Camp and like even CrossFit, but I think starting off, I just knew something low impact was probably going to be a little bit better for me. It feels like I'm very much a beginner, and to take 76 Pilates classes in like 5.5, 6 months feels like a huge accomplishment. And I'm very proud of myself for that. I totally fell in love with it, and I really want to add strength training in for 2026. I feel like now that I've gotten myself comfortable in that setting, and I'm comfortable in my body now, where I feel like, okay, I really want to be strong. That feels like a huge stepping stone for me on one of my goals. And I'm just really proud of myself. So I've lost 31 pounds. I've taken 76 Pilates classes. The next one is I did get Invisalign. I don't know if you guys can tell on the camera. I did get Invisalign, and I'm actually almost finished with it. So that has been huge for me. I would say this is up there with my weight loss in terms of feeling confident in myself. I work remotely, so I'm on video calls every single day, and I'm staring at my face. And seeing my teeth like be crooked, and like I've always really picked myself apart when it comes to my teeth. That plus like the weight gain and not recognizing myself, I feel like it was really impacting my ability to work. Like I literally could not focus, and I realized that this is not everybody. So like I realized that I'm probably an extreme when it comes to being really critical of myself. But I would literally look at the little camera on Google Meets and want to just turn it off. Just didn't want to see myself, and watching myself talk, I literally would like forget what I was going to say because I just was so focused on what I didn't want to see. And that's really hard to say out loud. I don't think I've actually said that out loud until now. But it really impacted my work and the quality of my work. And that's crazy to me to say, because career has always been something that is so important to me. To know that something as silly as like being in my own head about, I say it's silly, but obviously it's not silly to me, but something as, you know, trivial as my body and the way I look and my teeth getting in the way, like that just sounds insane to me to say. But when you're in the middle of it and you're feeling so self-conscious and uncomfortable with yourself, like it really does affect every single aspect of your life. And I'm just really proud of myself for taking the steps. I was really anxious to go in and get Invisalign. I've actually had it. I did Invisalign once when I was like a teenager, and then I lost my retainer or something and didn't keep up with that. And then my teeth shifted. So right before my wedding, I did Smile Direct Club, and I actually had a really good experience for the most part with them. But when I was pregnant, I cracked my retainer. I slept in it every single night, cracked it. And then I went to order a new one and they were out of business. So I was like, you know, super pregnant and just at the point where I was like, we'll just address this after pregnancy and postpartum. And then pregnancy and postpartum hit. My teeth shifted a ton postpartum, which was crazy to me. I didn't expect that. And I was like, anything else? Anything else? Here we go. So went back in to an orthodontist in like around where I live. And I was like, got a quote, went through my insurance. You mostly pay out of pocket as an adult for braces, which just blows my mind that it's like not covered the way anything else is covered. Like eyes and teeth, I don't understand, but they're expensive. So yeah, did that. I finished up. I think I have my last tray actually next week, which is so crazy. Oh my gosh. And then my orthodontist did say that we can do a few refinements, which I think we might need to do. Just up top, I'm like a psychopath about my teeth. So I don't know. We'll see what he says and go from there. But all in all, very proud of myself. I feel like 2025 was a really big year of transformation for me. And the weight and my teeth were like the two main parts of it for me when it comes to like physical transformation. And then the next item on my list, sorry, I'm looking down here, is I got contacts, which again, that might sound like such a very silly thing. I was never self-conscious about glasses. I actually think glasses are so cute, but I have a 2-year-old and an almost 2-year-old and 2 dogs. And I was starting to like be more active. And again, staring at yourself in a video screen, whatever, in a Google Meets. What am I trying to say? All day, like the glare of my glasses was just driving me nuts. And I feel like all I could see was like the crazy glare on my glasses and then my crooked teeth. And I was like, all right, well, is there anything that I have to offer? Okay. So silly one, but it's actually been really great having contacts. I love it. I have a really bad astigmatism in both eyes, and driving at night, I would say like early morning, late at night, when it's like dusk or dawn, is when I have the hardest time with my vision. My eyes really strain. It gives me a really bad headache. And then if it's raining or when there's like lights coming at me, oh my gosh, terrible. So I go to Pilates. I work out before work and I'm driving. It's pitch black on my way to Pilates. And then the sun is coming up on my way home from Pilates. So getting contacts was a game changer for me. And I'm really happy that I did it. And then on my last item for accomplishments of 2025, I wrote that I fell in love with working out. And that is probably the greatest accomplishment because I'm not going to be on Ozempic forever. I'm not going to continue to take a GLP-1. I don't have any medical reason why that's necessary for me. So I have really tried to treat it as a tool to help me reach my goals. And I also knew that I was going to have to put in a lot of work to be able to, number one, maintain that lifestyle going forward. And number two, help myself along the way. I wasn't just sitting there thinking like, great, I'm going to take this shot once or twice a week and it's going to solve all my problems, because that's just not how life works. So I'm really proud of myself. It really took me getting out of my comfort zone this year. And I just learned a lot about myself, honestly. I learned that I'm a creature of habit and that I don't want to be that. I don't want to be somebody who exists in the comfortable routines, because there's no growth in that. There's no change in that. And that has just been a huge mindset shift for me. And I'm really excited about it. So in addition to my accomplishments for 2025, I also listed out some opportunities for growth that I really want to focus on in 2026. First one is I want to get stronger and build more muscle. I think physically for me, being able to sustain like the working out and have a regular cadence of exercise. I want one exercise that is good for me like mentally, and then one that really challenges me physically. So before, I mentioned before, I just used to walk, and I would do long walks. There were times where I would walk 6 miles outside, and it was like lots of hills, and I was pushing a stroller, and I was also like 80 pounds heavier than I am now. So it really was like a solid workout, but it was also really good for my mental health to just go. I would put on a podcast. I love like the Skinny Confidential. And it was just kind of like me time. I would try to time it with my daughter's nap so that she would be asleep and I could just kind of watch her and walk and listen to a podcast. And we lived in a wonderful neighborhood for walking. It was very like private, quiet, kind of in the middle of nowhere. There wasn't much traffic. So I'm very grateful for that. And I think picking up Pilates in 2025 was the challenging one for me, but I really want to start strength training and really focus on like building muscle for 2026. And then this is more of a personal one, but I really want to be more intentional with what I buy. I feel like one of the things that I was doing throughout the past 2 years when I wasn't feeling great about myself was just buying things to make me feel better about myself. And that's changed, whether it's like purses or makeup or skincare or whatever it is in the moment. It was just like spending money and like that dopamine hit of like, okay, I'm not feeling great about myself. How can I make myself feel better? Like buy something. I still love buying things. Okay. I'm not going to lie. I really, really enjoy having a package out for delivery. I don't know if there's a better feeling than that. I'm working on it, but I think identifying that where that was coming from was a huge step. And that actually happened very recently. Like I'm talking the last few weeks when I was kind of reflecting on a lot of this, and it was like a light bulb moment. And I was like, the stuff doesn't make me that happy. It's like the feeling of like when I'm buying the stuff. And then, yeah, so I really want to challenge myself to be more intentional with what I'm spending my money on, why I'm buying whatever it is, and challenge myself to spend a little bit less. And then the last theme or opportunity for 2026 that I want to focus on is I wrote to truly work on myself, body and mind. So I cannot believe I left this off of my list of accomplishments, but in 2025, I started therapy. This is a huge thing for me because I've really needed to go probably since I was a child, honestly. But in 2015, I lost one of my best friends very tragically on my birthday, and it was life altering for me. It was like the hardest thing I've ever gone through. And I was terrified to go to therapy for it. I was very trapped mentally in grief for a long time. And then 2 years later, I lost his dad and my dad within like 2 days of each other. I found out the same day. And losing a parent, if anyone can relate, it's one of the hardest things in the world that I've ever been through. It's really challenging to like move through those emotions and go through everything in life and not have your parent there to see it. I think some of the biggest milestones of my life happened after I lost my dad. So graduating college, meeting my husband, getting married, buying my first house, having my daughter. Like, my dad wasn't here for any of that. He never got to meet his first grandchild. And so those are all things that are obviously very difficult to talk about. So that was, I don't know, I definitely needed to go to therapy for a while now. And all of that happened in 2015 and 2017. And I think, yeah, I met my husband in 2018 and I was so hyper focused on my career. I was like really throwing myself into that. And I just didn't feel like therapy was going to be a good use of my time. I felt like it was going to take away from my work day. I didn't want it to affect my work or my career. And so I just decided, like, whatever, I'll just muscle through it. And it wasn't until this year, when I think everything kind of started to like break down for me, that I was like, maybe I should talk to someone. And I'm so grateful that I did. I started going once a week to therapy, and we actually did EMDR, and it was incredibly helpful for me. I think if I had done this sooner, it probably would have been even more beneficial. I wish I would have done it sooner, but I really wanted to continue this theme in 2026 of truly working on the areas of my life that feel a little bit uncomfortable to talk about. I think everything I've just talked about in this video is a little uncomfortable for all of us to talk about, so why not put it on the internet too? Yeah, I think really focusing on the things that when the topic comes up, I'm kind of like, oh, I don't want to feel that way. So really truly focusing on my body and my mind. So like mental and physical health is just the overall theme for me of 2026. I think everything I've talked about, it's kind of encapsulated in there. And then to finish off the video, I wanted to share a few lessons that I learned in 2025. The first one is you get out what you put in. So that's with everything, with work, with family, with working out, with nutrition, all of it. You're going to get out what you put in. There's no shortcuts. Number two is comfort is not my friend. I think I was so focused on comfort when I was feeling uncomfortable. I just clung to the things that made me feel safe. Like, I didn't want to challenge myself. I didn't want to get into situations or places where I felt like I was on display. I was just so uncomfortable in my own skin. And every single thing that has changed my life this past year required me to get so uncomfortable. And it's the only way that anything has changed. So now I'm like, if something makes me uncomfortable, I want to run towards it, because I'm like, wow, that is going to change things. So comfort is not your friend. You really have to get uncomfortable to change anything. The last one was just that I'm really proud of myself. And I think it's really hard for me to say that, because I always want to focus on what I still have left to do and where I still have room for growth. But I did want to reflect and take a few minutes to just tell myself that I'm really proud of all of my progress, and I'm really excited to see how much more progress. That's like the most motivating thing, is to be proud of yourself. Like, I'm excited to see how much further I'm going to go this coming year, because I know that I can do it. And that's just a really good feeling. So that is going to wrap up my recap of 2025 goals and kind of leaning into what I want to focus on for 2026. Just like a check-in on my video from last year. If you guys are still watching, thank you so much for following along. This is such a vulnerable video. It was kind of hard to make, but it's really cool to be able to look back and see this. Like, I'm going to go watch my video from last year now and see like all the things that I said I wanted to do. And I just know it's going to feel really good knowing that I made so much progress. Like, if me a year ago could see where I am today, I know she'd be really, really proud. And I hope I feel the same way next year. So I hope you guys are doing something that is going to make you uncomfortable in the best way. and make yourself proud. And thank you so much for watching.